Okay, so I think most everyone in my life knows that humpback whales are probably one of my favorite animals. They're definitely at the top of the list, definitely top 5. And I really like humpback whales, so I decided to do my presentation over whales. Maybe it is broken.
No, I think you might have maybe clicked it to something else. Hold on a second. Now try it.
Okay, cool. Okay. So that's their scientific name. It's long and in Latin, so I'm not going to try to say it out loud. But it means big wing of New England, which I didn't know previous to making this presentation. And humpback whales are a species of baleen whale, which is like a type of whale. And their speed, so a lot of times if you've ever seen a video of whales like swimming in the ocean, it's kind of hard to tell how fast they're going, because number one, the ocean is like this large expanse of water without a lot of definition, and they're really big, so you can't really tell how fast they're going, but they can go anywhere from 2 to 25 kilometers per hour. 2 is usually when they're like feeding, they'll go from like 2 to 5, and then if they're really just moving, then they can reach up to 25. And so I found an interesting point about why they're called humpback whales is because they have this habit of when they like do their little like flop dive thing, like that, they have this habit of raising and bending their back in that manner, which accentuates this sort of hump that they create with their fin. So that's why they're called humpback whales. So some physical characteristics is that they have these really large round bodies. I think we've all seen pictures of them because I have them here. But kind of getting into more of the specifics, they have these things called tubercles, which are like these large knobs on their head. And that's where they have like stiff hair follicles, which is the way that they're considered a mammal. It's because mammals are supposed to have hair. So they kind of have these follicles of hair. We're not really sure why they have them. Scientists guess that it must have something to do with sensation, because there's obviously going to be a lot of nerves running through there. But they're not sure actually. And then with their coloration, they sort of are a mixture of black and white, and they're very big. So there's a little chart there to show you how large they can get, anywhere from 40 to 50 feet, and about 25 to 40 tons, which is very large considering that a ton is about 2,000 pounds. So very big. They're usually compared to like school buses whenever people are trying to like conceptualize how big one is. Sometimes I'll just be sitting and thinking like, dang, if a whale was right next to me, they would be so big. So I find that really fascinating, how large they are. Is that working again?
I think another button might be pushed. It's okay. There you go.
Okay. So where humpback whales are found, they're basically almost everywhere in the ocean. That's relatively speaking compared to like animals that stay within like a continent or something. Obviously they don't go everywhere. But the blue spots represent their feeding grounds, so where they would go to feed. And then they have their like mating grounds, and then their like migratory routes is the yellow section. So they really just travel everywhere. Yeah, a lot of times there's a lot of videos and stuff are taken in like Alaska, because you can see that they have like a more concentrated area that they would be in. So yeah, they're found in all oceans, and a huge thing that drives like where they're at is what they're eating, obviously. And so they eat krill, which are like small shrimp-like things, if anybody doesn't know what they are. They can eat anywhere from 1 to 1.5 tons of food per day, which is a lot, again, considering that a ton is 2,000 pounds. And so they have these like black keratin hairs inside their mouth that like trap and like filter the water when they're eating. So their throat expands and then like a bunch of water flows into their mouth. And then when they close their mouth, like the water kind of gets pushed back through so that like their hairs can trap the food that they want. And they usually will like kind of do this upwards motion. I have a video, and I don't know if it's gonna play, but we can try. So I'm gonna try and click on it because I find it so fascinating. Hold on. Let's see if we can make it play. Aha. Does it have sound? That would be really unfortunate. can see they like go up, and so you can see that there's like multiple whales there. Nice slow motion of that movement. But what they do is they actually work together in a team to do this. So they start underwater, and they create these bubbles that like push the fish that they want to eat and like the whatever they're trying to eat into like an area, and it like traps them. So they've got like people, they've got whales making bubbles and like whales that are coming around, and they're like working as a team, and then it creates like a funnel where all of the fish or krill or whatever are in one area, and then they come up and like get them together, which is just crazy because the amount of like teamwork involved in that, I think humans struggle to work together. So the fact that they can do that is really cool. So whales work together and they communicate with each other a lot. Another part that's really interesting about them is the fact that they have such extensive communication, and the way they do this is through echolocation, and then they also sing songs, which is another reason why I love whales. If you listen to them, there's actually like repeating patterns. They seem to have like a sort of language of their own. Well, we can't understand it yet, but they do. And their sounds that they emit can actually travel up to 100 miles away. And I feel like there's just, all these things about whales just sound like really poetic to me, I guess. But yeah, that's whales. That's a little bit about whales.